Hello, my name is Ali Gholami. I'm PhD student in University of Nevada, Reno. I'm also research assistant in Center for Advanced Transportation Education and Research in Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, University of Nevada, Reno. In this presentation, I provide three methods to determine turning movement proportions in shared lanes. The outline of this presentation is as follows. First, a brief introduction about the applications of turning movement volume. Then I describe why these methods are proposed here, and then methods are explained, and finally methods are applied on three intersections. Turning movement volumes has a lot different application in transportation engineering. Here you can see a few examples. For example, in traffic safety studies, you need turning movement volume applications in each intersection. We can obtain turning movement volumes automatically because almost all signalized intersections have loop detectors as a means of controlling the signal. IT in this report explains that if loop detectors be configured and placed properly, they can produce excellent counts. However, in shared lanes, we need departure or exit detectors to obtain turning movements. Here, these gray detectors are exit or departure detectors. So each movement can be traced by two detectors. Unfortunately, we don't have departure detectors in many states. So in summary, we can obtain turning movement volumes in either manually, that is expensive, time assuming and not continuous, or automatically using loops, that is not possible in shared lanes. Based on this, we propose these methods. The first one, departure detector, using departure detectors. As I said, it is not possible because we don't have these kind of detectors in many states. And other detectors, other methods, we need two kind of data, aggregated or high resolution data from detectors. So before I describe these methods, I briefly describe aggregated and high resolution data. Here you can see a sample of aggregated data that I got from City of Reno, that you can see the data are in 15 minutes. So detectors 9, 10, 11, and 12 has this much volume at each time period. And here is a sample of high resolution data that you can see that vehicle by vehicle activation, and also you can see traffic signal information. Okay, first method, net for equilibrium, we need aggregated or high resolution data. Both kind of data is fine to use for this method. Here is an example of using this method. If you have red movements, then you can calculate the blue proportion. The second method is volume and queue lengths of share lanes. You can use 1 minute aggregated data or high resolution data. The main idea is that vehicles use all similar direction lanes evenly, except that they want to turn. For example, here this car probably wants to turn right, otherwise it could use two other lanes. In this method, we calculate the ratio of volumes in lanes, and based on these ratios, we can make a prediction model. Next method, flow characteristics of share lanes, we can use only high resolution data. The main idea of this method is that vehicles with higher headway from their front car, when they are passing from a stop bar, probably turn left or right. So based on headway and other factors that affect headway, for example the car type or car position in the line, we can make a prediction model. Finally, if none of these methods are applicable, we can use our observation in the field and apply the proportions for future applications. A few things we need to consider before using these methods. The first method, as I said, is not applicable in at least Nevada and many other states. They don't have departure detector. The second method, if there is not significant trip generator between intersections, we can use this method. Otherwise, it is the accuracy of this method could be reduced significantly. The next method is applicable if there is not a downstream intersection close to our study intersection, because sometimes vehicles, they don't want to turn at this intersection, but they want to turn at the next intersection. Flow characteristic of share lanes is not applicable if left turn is not protected or there are significant pedestrian volume, and also if turning radius is large, we cannot use this method, because when turning radius is large, headways are not significantly different when they want to turn right or go through. And finally, the last method is applicable if there is not high variances in different hours, days, and weeks or seasons. For making the models for VQ and FC methods, we use both regression and genetic programming. In regression, user must specify the structure of the model, but genetic programming advantage is that GPU automatically evolves both the structure and the parameters, so users doesn't need to specify the structure of model manually. Here is an example that shows how GPU works. Here we have three sets of data, X, Y, Z. We cannot imagine their model structure easily from their scatter plot, but these data are in fact from different triangles that finally can lead to Pythagorean theorem. It's hard to find the Pythagorean theorem based on regular regression models, but with GP, in a few minutes I got this model. This equation, the two first terms are exactly the Pythagorean theorem, and other terms, if you notice, all of them are almost zero. So if we delete these three terms, we get exactly this Pythagorean theorem. GP is based on evolution process. I mean, during using that method, you need to do crossover, mutation, and other operators of evolutionary systems. But we can use ready applications. I use GPTIPS. That is easy to use. You can download it for free, and you can use for your modeling. And also I used R for both regular regression and GP. R also is free, so you can download it and install many packages that are useful to do different kind of analysis. For accuracy, I use the mean absolute percentage error that is very common in calculating the errors. Three different intersections in Reno, Nevada were chosen for our case study intersections with different turning radius. Here is the turning radius is 16 feet, here 35, and here is 100. So we applied all methods on these three applications, and models are like this. Some in some intersections, some models are not applicable, but other models that were made based on our methods you can see here, and the results show that hourly average error for all methods are almost in all methods are less than 15%. That is acceptable, and in many intersections you can see it is even less than 10%. In this intersection it is a little bit high because in McCarran Boulevard and Collier Acre Lane the turning radius is 100. That shows when turning radius increase, the significance of headways decrease. Charles Babbage has said that errors using inadequate data are much less than those using no data at all. So I know that these methods are not perfect, but maybe in many cases they can be better than nothing. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video.